Hey, welcome back to my channel. And I'm going to talk about some cover songs that I never knew were cover songs, and then songs that I think you may have never known were cover songs. So recently I was working on my funk band stuff, as everybody knows who follows my channel, and for those who don't, welcome. We are doing a bunch of R&B from the 70s, and one of the songs that I was looking at was a song that I thought was a band called Blackness doing a song called Thinking of You. I also was looking at Sister Sledge's song, He's the Greatest Dancer, which was on the We Are Family album, and I realized that I had the We Are Family album, and I go to look at it, and there's a song called Thinking of You, and I play it, and I'm like, it's the same damn song that Blackness did. Now, you probably don't know who Blackness is, or, and you may not even know much Sister Sledge stuff. It's really the band Chic doing the music, and well, Nile Rodgers and Bernard Edwards wrote the music and played it with Tony Thompson on drums and their keyboard guys. They use like the same 2 or 3 guys. And but yeah, this song Thinking of You was a cover, and it got me thinking about other songs that, you know, when I was a kid didn't realize it was a cover. For instance, recently a couple of friends and I were talking about the band Crocus and the song Stayed Awake All Night. I found out sometime in like the 90s that it was actually an old Bachman Turner Overdrive song, but I always thought it was Crocus growing up from that Headhunter album. And that got me thinking into other songs, because there was a time when I got into the Rascals and I had no idea that You Better Run wasn't a Pat Benatar song, but it was a Rascals song first. And I was like, wow, those types of things, you know, threw me, because, you know, nobody ever mentions that that version. In fact, when Maxwell came out and did This Woman's Work, and somebody did it on American Idol, I remember Randy Jackson saying, oh, that's a Maxwell tune. And it's like, yeah, it's a Kate Bush tune, who wrote it for this movie She's Having a Baby. Although I do like the Maxwell version better, but let's give it credit. She wrote a beautiful song. My acoustic band, AM Station, we always do 70s, like, songs that you never hear people play, and we perform Brandy by Looking Glass, and we always segue it going into Mandy by Barry Manilow. And the reason why is, and I always give this speech when we do the songs, is that the original title of the song was called Brandy, and Scott English had a hit with it in England in 1971, I believe. And when Barry Manilow wanted to cover it, it was right around when Looking Glass had a song called Brandy. So Clive Davis was like, you got to change the name if you want to do that song. So we changed it to Mandy. But that's a cover. So you could look up the original Scott English Brandy. Years ago, I was trying to find out who did a song called No Secrets, and found out it was the Angels from Australia. Well, they also did a song called Face the Day, and then I realized that the song by Great White was a cover from the Angels, and I absolutely like the Angels version better. But let me just tell you some other songs that you may not know that were covers. I Got My Mind Set on You, George Harrison, was a song. James Ray, I believe, was the first person to do it. It's an old song from the early 60s. Dee Dee Warwick originally did You're No Good, and Linda Ronstadt did that cover. Fleetwood Mac wrote the Green Manalishi that Judas Priest did. And they also wrote Black Magic Woman and did it a year before Santana did it. Both by Peter Green. Also, he wrote Oh Well, which is a fantastic song. Judas Priest, who also did the Green Manalishi, also did Diamonds and Rust, which was a Joan Baez cover. Another classic that we do in AM Station is When I Need You by Leo Sayer, originally written and performed by Albert Hammond, who wrote Got on board a westbound 7. It Only Rains in Southern California. He also wrote a song called The Air That I Breathe, and I can't remember, the name's escaping me, of the guy who he wrote it with. And they ended up getting writing credit on Creep by Radiohead because that song basically stole the chord progression and melody of The Air That I Breathe. Also going back to Great White, they also did Once Bitten, Twice Shy. That was an old Ian Hunter song. Back in the New York Groove was actually a song written by Russ Ballard, and it was recorded by a band called Hello. And Ace Frehley's producer, Eddie Kramer, at the time heard it and thought it would be a great song for Ace, and it was. But that was a cover. Speaking of Russ Ballard also recorded and wrote the song Winning that Santana had a hit with. That was a cover. Russ Ballard wrote a lot of songs for other people as well, but certain songs he wrote and recorded himself and other people covered. And then other songs like, Since You've Been Gone, he wrote for another band, and Rainbow ended up covering it. He's written so many great songs. You Can Do Magic. He wrote Free Me for Roger Daltrey. I could go on and on. I Surrender, he wrote, that Rainbow did. Anyways, enough about Russ Ballard. There was a band in the 70s called The Arrows. They had a hit song, I Love Rock and Roll, which Joan Jett made a big hit with. There was a song by a band called Racy, and the song was called Kitty. Didn't really do much, but if you change the name to Mickey and give it to Tony Basil, or Basil, however you pronounce her name, she had a big hit with it. But the original song, Mickey, was called Kitty, and it was sung by a guy band. And Linda Lindell had a song in the late 60s called What a Man. What a man, what a man, what a man, what a mighty good. In fact, the original guitar line is sampled in the song What a Man by Salt and Pepper and En Vogue. And there's a great one. There's a song called Think About It by Lynn Collins. And Lynn Collins, I think it's like the minute 20 seconds into the song, it goes into this thing where it's like, it takes two to make things go right, and she does the scream and that little thing was sampled and became a huge hit for Rob Bass. But yeah, that was basically a Lynn Collins song, and it was just like this weird section in the song anyways. But if you look it up, it's called Think About It. There's just always so many, and I'm always surprised when somebody mentions a song that they like, and I'm like, oh yeah, that was originally done by somebody else. They're always like, of course you would know it. And I don't know them all. I mean, I get surprised a lot when I find out things. But it's always fun to see like where certain songs came from, especially if they're covers and no one's heard them. Like years ago when I ran West LA, Peter Byrne would come in a lot, and he was the singer for Naked Eyes. And we talked, and he was telling me the story when he first came to the States. Every interview, they were asking him, like, where did he come up with the idea for the song? And he's like, it's a Burt Bacharach song. It's been around since the 60s. But always something there to remind me was an old song, and nobody knew at the time when, all these people that are doing the interviews of Naked Eyes didn't know, and he always thought it was pretty funny. But he wrote a brilliant song, Promises, Promises, and I always like the song When the Lights Go Out by them as well. He's a great player and a great singer. But I just thought I would share that with you. If there's a song that you feel that people didn't know was a cover that was a great big hit, please post it in my comments. I'd love to see, because I'd love to find out. If you're going to post like old blues songs like, oh, did you know Led Zeppelin's the Lemon song is Killing Floor? Yeah, no shit. You don't need to post the obvious blues stuff that everybody knows was cover songs, but I mean like real, like cover songs. In fact, probably the only blues one you probably didn't know was a blues song was the Lead Belly song that has Black Betty in it, the section of Black Betty, and Ram Jam did it. But that was an old blues song. But for the most part, if you know like a song that would be like Kiss, God Gave Rock and Roll to You. That's an old Russ Ballard song when he was singing in the band Argent. Anyways, just something fun to talk about. Please, in the comments, tell me like one of your favorite songs that was a cover that you don't think that people know is a cover. I'd love to see it. I have a gig tomorrow night. Super Bowl's on Sunday. Go Pats. I will see everybody Monday for the podcast on Guitar Talk with Dave and John. Very good.